Meanwhile, Hungary has entered a political turning point as elections wrapped up last Sunday. After 16 years, Viktor Orbán has conceded defeat, with opposition leader Péter Magyar securing a sweeping two-thirds majority in parliament, reshaping the country's political landscape. In a moment of transition, Orbán has congratulated his rival while signaling that he is not stepping away from the public life, pledging to continue serving Hungarians from the opposition benches. But what does this dramatic shift mean for Hungary's future, and could it alter Budapest ties with partners like Kazakhstan? More on what comes next from Balzhan Samigulina.
After 16 years in power, Viktor Orbán has been voted out of government despite efforts to reshape election rules in favor of his party. In a striking moment, he was quick to admit defeat even before all the votes had been counted.
Dear friends, while the election outcome is not yet final, it is already clear and understandable. It is a painful result for us, but unmistakable. The responsibility and possibility of governing were not given to us.
These words mark the end of a long era, delivering a landslide victory to be once upstart opposition force. With 46% of the vote counted, the center-right pro-EU TISA party, led by Péter Magyar, was projected to secure 135 seats out of 199-member parliament. Orbán's rule had faced mounting criticism in recent years, both at home and abroad, particularly in Brussels, over concerns about democratic backsliding, including the erosion of judicial independence, pressure on state media, and the weakening of individual rights. His defeat is also likely to resonate beyond Hungary's borders, dealing a blow to his closest allies on the international stage.
It is a strong message, the fact that Orbán has lost, and has lost also very strongly towards the US, towards Russia, towards everyone who had been supporting him. The current Trump administration was strongly supporting him. The visit of Vance to Budapest just before the election was a strong sign of support. So the fact that someone who has been strongly supported by Washington and by Moscow has been defeated, and has been hugely defeated in his country, is also a signal towards these governments, administrations, that there's a limit in terms of how you can affect elections in the member states.
Experts say a new prime minister in Budapest could mark the end of Hungary's confrontational stance inside the European Union, potentially unlocking a €90 billion package for Ukraine that had been blocked under Orbán. It may also pave the way for the release of EU funds previously frozen over concerns about democratic standards.
Orbán regime, which couldn't have any innovation in the last few years. The corruption was higher than ever, along with the inflation, while the economy is stuck in the level of 2022. I think these are the main reasons behind the huge victory of Péter Magyar, and if his political skills are a relevant factor, but not the most relevant ones. I think the economic reasons behind are much more relevant, and it was a revolution for the youngsters as well.
For Péter Magyar, this is a decisive victory. Not a traditional outsider, he spent years within Orbán's own Fidesz party and held government roles before breaking with the establishment in 2024 amid a corruption scandal, emerging as a credible alternative. Though the Magyar's profile blends contrasts, socially conservative, yet campaigning on reform, anti-corruption, and a more pragmatic pro-European course.
We are ready to eradicate this industrial-scale corruption, as this is largely why Hungary and Hungarian people are not receiving the 8,000 billion forints of EU funds. And well, this is why the economy disappeared. This is why we have become Europe's poorest and most corrupt country. So we will have a huge responsibility to get the office up and running as soon as possible. I can tell you that we can hope to be there in June. I will personally do everything to get it set up as quickly as possible.
Leaders in Europe are swift to welcome Magyar's win, pointing to a new direction in relations between Budapest and Brussels.
I have to say, for me, this is one of the best pieces of news that we clearly still have such a high degree of resilience in a democratic society, like Hungary's. The country is sending a very clear signal against right-wing populism across the whole world.
It is evident that Hungary's foreign policy priorities will shift, particularly regarding cooperation along the Turkic track. Under Viktor Orbán, the country leans into platforms like the Organization of Turkic States, partly to offset its limited influence within the European Union. With Peter Magyar expected to take a more pro-European course, some analysts believe that emphasis could gradually shift. However, Maraz Raimbayev, advisor to the chairman of the board at Maksut Narikbayev University, argues that Hungary's relationship with Kazakhstan is likely to remain a priority.
Astana will remain the same in the list of priority for any government in Hungary. The reason is quite simple, because first, we share very understandable, pragmatic diplomatic relationships, both in multilateral and bilateral tracks. Hungary itself is very well positioned in between of European continent, and its own policy to turn to the east means absolute necessity to have strong and stable relationships with Central Asia, and particularly with Kazakhstan.
So internationally, Magyar's victory carries symbolic weight as Viktor Orbán's defeat signals a potential weakening of the nationalist model. Analysts say it could also influence upcoming elections in Italy, France and Germany. But with the strong mandate comes significant expectations. Magyar now faces the challenge of delivering on his promises and holding together the broad coalition that brought him to power. Balzhan Samigulina, Ulhanbek Manarbek, New Time.